Today's episode is brought to you by Science.bio. They're your go-to source for premium nootropics. You can find out more about them in the description. But for now, we're going to be looking at a study on centrophenoxine and how it affects our aging brains.
As we get older, our brains change, and oxidative stress plays a big part in that.
For those who don't know, what is oxidative stress, and how does it affect our brains?
Well, think of it as an imbalance. Your body has these unstable molecules called free radicals. They can cause damage to your cells, proteins, even your DNA. Antioxidants are like the body's defense system. They fight off these free radicals when there are too many free radicals and not enough antioxidants. That's oxidative stress.
So it's like a constant battle going on inside us, and our brain is a prime target.
Yes. The brain uses a lot of energy and oxygen, making it more vulnerable to this damage from free radicals. As we age, this damage builds up and can lead to cognitive decline.
Okay. I'm starting to see the connection. So where does centrophenoxine fit into all of this?
Centrophenoxine is a nootropic, a compound that's known for its potential to enhance cognitive function. It can easily get past the blood-brain barrier, meaning it can directly reach the brain.
So it can actually get to where it needs to go to potentially make a difference.
That's the idea. This study we're examining used rats to model human aging. They had two groups, younger rats at 6 months old and older ones at 16 months. Both groups were given centrophenoxine daily for 6 weeks.
Okay. And what exactly were they looking for in these rats? How did they measure the impact of centrophenoxine?
They focus on measuring markers of oxidative stress in different areas of the rats' brains. They examine the activity of specific antioxidant enzymes, which are the body's natural defenders against those harmful free radicals. They also measured levels of glutathione, which is a very potent antioxidant.
Okay, so they were basically checking how much damage control was happening in the brain. Did they find that aging had any effect on these markers?
Yes. As expected, they found that aging increased a marker of damage from free radicals, something called malondialdehyde. They also saw changes in the activity of those antioxidant enzymes and in the levels of glutathione in the older rats.
So aging was definitely having a negative impact. Now the million-dollar question, did centrophenoxine make a difference?
In the older rats, they found that centrophenoxine increased the activity of key antioxidant enzymes like superoxide dismutase and glutathione reductase.
So it was actually boosting the brain's defenses.
It appears so. They also observed that centrophenoxine improved the levels of both reduced and oxidized glutathione in the older rats. And they even found a decrease in that marker of damage we talked about, the malondialdehyde.
Interesting. So centrophenoxine seems to be doing something positive at a chemical level. But what does this actually mean for brain health as we age? Can we connect these changes to real-world benefits?
That's what makes this research so compelling. While we need more studies, these findings suggest that centrophenoxine could be a valuable tool in protecting the aging brain. By reducing oxidative stress and boosting the brain's natural defenses, it might help us maintain our cognitive function and overall brain health as we get older. These findings open up some interesting possibilities. They suggest that maybe we can intervene and help our brains age more gracefully.
I like the sound of that. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's go back to the study itself. How did they actually go about testing centrophenoxine on these rats?
Well, they divided the rats into two groups by age, young and old. Both groups received a daily dose of centrophenoxine for 6 weeks.
Okay, so they were looking at both young and old brains to compare the effects.
Yes. That way they could isolate the impact of aging itself. They used a specific dosage of centrophenoxine, 100 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, and administered it directly into the rat's abdominal cavity.
So they had a controlled way of giving the centrophenoxine and making sure each rat got the same relative amount.
Precisely. After the 6 weeks, they measured several factors to assess oxidative stress in the rats' brains. First, they looked at the activity of 3 antioxidant enzymes, catalase, superoxide dismutase, and glutathione reductase. These enzymes are like the cleanup crew for free radicals.
So the more active these enzymes are, the better equipped the brain is to deal with those damaging free radicals.
Yes. They also measured the levels of glutathione, a powerful antioxidant. They looked at both reduced and oxidized glutathione to get a sense of the overall balance in the brain.
So it's not just about having enough antioxidants, it's about maintaining the right balance.
It's a dynamic process. And finally, they measured that marker of damage we discussed, malondialdehyde, which indicates how much damage those free radicals have caused.
By looking at all these factors together, they could really get a comprehensive picture of what was happening in the brain.
And the results, as we've discussed, suggested that centrophenoxine was having a positive impact. Especially in the older rats, it seemed to make their antioxidant systems more effective.
That's really encouraging. But every study has its limitations. What should we keep in mind about this particular study?
One thing to remember is that this study was done on rats. While rats are often used in research because their biology has similarities to humans, there are still differences. We can't automatically assume the same effects would be seen in humans.
So we need to be cautious about extrapolating these findings to humans just yet.
We need more research to confirm these findings. Also, this study used a specific dosage of centrophenoxine and a 6-week treatment period. Different dosages or treatment durations might lead to different outcomes.
So there's still a lot more to explore. What other research would you like to see done in this area?
It would be great to see studies that examine the effects of centrophenoxine on cognitive function in humans, and also to explore different dosages and treatment lengths to see what yields the optimal benefits.
That would really give us a clear picture of how this could potentially be used to support brain health as we age.
It's an area with a lot of potential for future research.
Absolutely. Now, earlier we touched on the idea that if this research holds up, it could have huge implications for society as a whole. Let's talk about that a bit more. What are some of the potential benefits we might see?
Well, first and foremost, imagine a world where people can maintain their cognitive function for longer. That means greater independence, better quality of life, and more fulfilling lives for older adults.
That would be incredible. And wouldn't it have a huge impact on healthcare as well, especially when it comes to conditions like Alzheimer's and dementia?
Absolutely. These conditions put a tremendous strain on families and healthcare systems. If we could delay or even prevent the onset of these conditions, it would be a game changer.
And thinking even broader, what about the workforce? Could this change how we view retirement and the contributions of older adults?
It could definitely shift our perspective. We might see people staying engaged in their careers longer, bringing their experience and expertise to the table for many more years.
It paints a picture of a more vibrant and inclusive society, where aging is seen as a time of continued growth and contribution.
It's an exciting vision, and one worth striving for.
It certainly is. But as with any potential breakthrough, there are always things to be cautious about. What are some potential downsides or challenges we might encounter along the way?
One important consideration is the potential for side effects. As with any intervention, we need to make sure centrophenoxine is safe for long-term use and understand any potential risks.
So thorough research is absolutely essential.
Another challenge is ensuring equitable access. We need to make sure that any potential benefits of centrophenoxine are available to everyone, regardless of their income or background.
That's a crucial point. We don't want to create a situation where only certain segments of society can access these potential benefits.
We need to think about how to make these breakthroughs accessible and affordable for everyone.
This brings up another question. Even if centrophenoxine proves to be safe and effective, how do we actually get it to the people who need it?
That's where collaboration comes in. We need researchers, healthcare providers, policymakers, and even pharmaceutical companies to work together to develop and distribute these potential treatments responsibly.
It sounds like a complex undertaking.
It is, but it's a challenge worth taking on. The potential rewards are just too great to ignore.
I completely agree. This research opens up a whole new world of possibilities. But we need to proceed with caution and ensure we're considering all the angles.
We need to be mindful of both the potential benefits and the potential challenges, and work together to create a future where aging is something to embrace, not fear.
It seems like we're on the cusp of some really big changes in how we understand and approach aging.
We're moving beyond simply accepting age-related decline as inevitable. We're starting to explore ways to intervene and potentially extend the healthy years of our lives.
This research on centrophenoxine and its potential effects on the aging brain is just one piece of the puzzle, but it's a pretty exciting one.
It's a glimpse into what might be possible in the future. Imagine a world where people can stay mentally sharp and engaged well into their 80s, 90s, or even beyond.
It challenges our whole perception of aging. We might see people continuing to work and contribute to society in ways that we haven't even thought of yet.
The possibilities are really endless, but to get there, we need continued research and investment. We need to understand the mechanisms of aging even better and explore different interventions, whether they're compounds like centrophenoxine lifestyle changes or other approaches.
It feels like a whole new frontier is opening up. And it's not just about living longer, it's about living better.
It's about extending health span, not just lifespan. It's about ensuring that those extra years are filled with vitality and cognitive well-being.
And it's about creating a society that values the contributions of people of all ages.
We need to break down the stereotypes associated with aging. and recognize the incredible potential that older adults have to offer.
So what are some of the key takeaways our listeners should keep in mind as they think about this research and its implications?
First, I think it's a reminder that we're not powerless against the aging process. There are things we can do both individually and as a society to support healthy brain aging.
Whether it's staying physically active, challenging our minds, eating a healthy diet, or exploring potential interventions like nootropics, there are steps we can take to protect our cognitive health.
And as research progresses, we're likely to see even more options becoming available.
It's important to stay informed and be proactive about our own well-being.
It's also crucial to advocate for continued research and funding in this area. The more we understand about aging, the better equipped we'll be to develop effective strategies for extending health span and improving quality of life.
This research on centrophenoxine has certainly sparked my curiosity, and I'm sure our listeners are feeling the same way.
It's an exciting time to be following this field. We're witnessing a paradigm shift in how we think about aging, and I'm optimistic about what the future holds.
I am too. And if you want to learn more about nootropics and how they might support cognitive health, be sure to check out our sponsor, Science.bio. They offer a wide range of high-quality products and resources, and you can find a link to their website in the description.
And as always, it's important to do your research and consult with a healthcare professional before making any decisions about your health.
That's great advice. Thank you for joining us for this exploration of the science of aging and the brain.
It's been a pleasure discussing this with you.
Until next time, stay curious